watch industry just loves machines because the presence of a car, a boat or a motorcycle upgrades timepieces. Machines give this special spirit filled with power, speed, risk and, yes, the heritage of icons like Steve McQueen. And so Breitling is extremely happy to announce a collaboration with the British motorcycle company Triumph. And do you know what? It works. They've created something which I see as one of the most convincing Breitling watches in years, with some dark spots. Let's start with the basics of the Breitling Top Time Triumph. We have an automatic watch with a case diameter of 41 mm and a length of 51.5 mm. Height is 14 and lug width 20. The watch comes with a sapphire crystal, a snapped caseback and a water resistancy of only 30 meters. Movement is the Breitling 23 with 28,800 beats per hour and a power reserve of 48 hours. The watch comes on a calfskin leather strap and the price is 5,290 euros or 5,500 US dollars. We have an unlimited edition with that kind of sector brushing on the dial and the limited speed twin edition with a radial brushing. I'd like to start here with the regular edition. So we have a classic chronograph layout with a 30-minute counter on the right and the seconds on the left, tachymeter scale and the typical long pushers of a 60s inspired chronograph. Because that's what they are referring to. The 50s and 60s motorcycles, well known as cafe races, because people used them to brag a bit with the machine in front of hip cafes. The ice blue of the dial is borrowed from such a Triumph motorcycle and a top time reference from the 70s, they say. I don't buy that, to be honest. What we see here is the new trend colorful watches that every manufacturer likes to have in the lineup. And for some reason, because it's a great color. In this case here enhanced with some sort of sector brushing. Collectors call this a Zorro dial, critics a pizza dial. Note the wonderful contrast it creates between black and blue. Not too strong, not too weak, just perfect and very interesting to look at. Like a Triumph motorcycle from the 60s, the watch shows some components that are seen today as pretty basic. The movement, for example, is based on the Valjoux 7753. Which is the successor of the Valjoux 7750, the legend. The winding mechanism of all these movements work in only one direction. So when the rotor swings in the other direction, you will feel it. Some people find this annoying, but I personally like it in a strange way. You really feel that there's something going on inside the watch. Then we have a snapped caseback, and here you find the guilty for a water resistancy of only 30 meters. And this is an aspect people will just hate, I'm afraid. In these components and specs we can of course see the appeal of a vintage motorcycle, which also doesn't help the driver with modern assistance. And many drivers love exactly this. But you also can see these basic components as a minus. Back to the case form. The top time cases are well known, so we can state that it will be big. 41 mm seems okay for the genre, but the length of 51 can overpower many wrists. Also the long pushes add to the size of the watch. And now let's speak briefly about the Speed Twin edition, limited to 270 pieces. For that version you have to pay 200 bucks more, but you have the chance to buy it with a Triumph motorcycle, because part of this collaboration is a motorcycle edition with a nice Breitling logo on it. So if you like the logo, if you like the size, then you can pre-order the watch right now. And that mentioned, I'd like to close this episode. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much and see you next Monday to Watch of the Week.